Hi everyone, Lisa Haven here, and I've got a very critical message that I want to share with you guys, a call to action for every American citizen out there, because I've got some pretty hardcore evidence against Google, against this monopolistic organization who is putting to the bottom of the pile any conservative, any patriotic, any pro-Trump kind of mentality, and taking it and delisting all of the channels. This is happening on a wide range, and as you guys know, Google owns YouTube, and they have one of the biggest monopolies in America. And now there is a class action lawsuit being filed, and I've talked about this before. We know it's been going on for a while, but it's James Damore and David Goodman who are filing this lawsuit, specifically James Damore, but I'm going to get into some of the actual information in that lawsuit so you can see for yourself how bad Google really is and what they really think of anyone who is pro-Trump or conservative, and how they plan on delisting us and putting us to the bottom. Now, that said, I want to encourage you guys, with all of my videos and other YouTubers who are sharing truth, share them far and wide. It is the only way that videos such as this one are going to get out. Why? Because they're being delisted. And what I mean by delisted, for example, Before It's News, the organization that I write for, it is news that is powered by the person, by people. Anyone can post on that news source. Therefore, Before It's News became really big, and it got a whole wide range of news simply because it was people-powered news. They also have reporters, such as myself, who write for them also. Now, a few years ago, they had about 4,000 some odd people per minute on average. Once they were delisted by Google, that went down to about 1,200 per minute on average. Why did that happen? Because Google delisted them. You are not allowed to find any of the files on there because they pushed them to the bottom of the barrel, and the only way it's findable is if you plug in the actual term Before It's News. Well, this is what they're doing with YouTube channels such as mine, such as Next News Network, who put out a report just this past week or so, in which his channel has started to become delisted. Now, I encourage you, open up a YouTube channel and sign up so you get the notifications. Hopefully you're getting the notifications. Click on the bell and make sure you're getting those. I know that has not been fully solved with Google either, but needless to say, subscribe to those channels so you can get the information and the latest and greatest, because they are pushing them to the bottom of the barrel. That is the call to action. Get yourself into the circle where you're subscribing to those, you're actively going to those channels. Otherwise, they're going to disappear and go to the bottom of the barrel, because that is the plan of the elites working at Google, at Facebook, at Twitter. And I'm constantly in Facebook jail, as most of you know who follow my Facebook page. There's links below. Follow me on Facebook. I'm also on Twitter, and I even have an Instagram account. So check me out on all of that below. But this is something that is starting to be a big problem here in America. Now, that said, I'm going to prove it to you. Now, I know all of you guys already see a lot of this going, but I'm going to take you to the actual document in which James Damore is suing Google, and a lot of the reasons on that document. All right, so I'm going to throw it up here on the side of the screen, but you can see, here's what some of you can see James Damore and the other plaintiff, David Goodman, are suing Google for censoring. Now, here's some of their main claims. First of all, due to their perceived conservative political views, because they are conservatives or because they think they're conservative, they are being censored. Second, due to their male gender, as we know, something far left, because Google is a leftist organization, let's put that bluntly. Because they're a white male, that's their third one, because they're Caucasian race, because they're white, they're put to the bottom of the barrel because they're white privilege, something that is often blown out of proportion on the far left, because they want to make the white man degraded and look bad because, hey, as Bernie Sanders said, we have white privilege. White people don't know what it's like to be poor. He's so full of it, and the whole thing's crazy. But this is the mentality of Google, and this is what's going on. Now, going on a little further, here's some of his claims. They have been ostracized, belittled, and punished for their political views, and for the added sin of their birth circumstances of being Caucasians or males. When the plaintiffs challenged Google's illegal employment practices, they were openly threatened and subjugated to harassment and retaliation from Google. Google created an environment of protecting employees who harassed individuals who spoke out against Google's view, or the googly way, as which sometimes it is known internally. Google employees knew they could harass these plaintiffs with impunity, given the tone set by their managers, and so they were harassed. Not only was the numerical presence of women also celebrated at Google solely due to their gender, but the presence of white or Caucasians and males was also mocked and booed during company-wide weekly meetings. Now, this is it's a lengthy document, but I encourage you just at least go through and read a few pages of what they're claiming. They include documented evidence of all these cases, email screenshots of the harassment from everybody from leaders employees and leaders. All these things are included in, but it's something at Google that they're continuing doing. What are they saying when they're supposed to, when they have a monopoly like they do and they've got the run of the internet? You cannot say, I don't care if I was, let's say they were supporting conservative views and censoring those on the far left. That would still be wrong, in my opinion, because that's a censorship, a right of which we have. I don't care what side of the fence you fall on, left, right, middle of the road, wherever you are, you have to have that freedom. And Google is saying only one political view is allowed. But I encourage you to check those. Now, here's some of the further claims. I'm just going to touch on these, but Google shamed teams that lacked females at meetings. So if you didn't have enough females in your group, you were shamed. Google punished other employees who raised concerns, like James DeMore and David, who were both fired from the company. They were laid off and fired from the company for expressing those views and saying, hey, we are being harassed. Third, Google didn't protect employees from workplace harassment due to their support for President Trump. Numerous emails. I'm going to show you like 3 or 4, but there's hundreds of these included in this report, mind you, and I'll show you those in a moment. But that is the kind of stuff, if you're pro-Trump, if you're Republican, if you're conservative, you were the target and you were specifically pushed to the bottom of the barrel. Now, Google publicly endorses blacklisting people, a list of people compiled from Google employees to blacklist specifically conservatives and preventing them from being able to work at Google. So they purposefully didn't hire anyone if you had conservative Republican kind of views. They even provided the tools in which to censor those employees. Now, furthermore, they also contained a blacklist of conservative authors who they didn't like. This includes many people like Alex Jones from InfoWars. His name is specifically mentioned, along with others. But anyone who was anti the leftist view or anyone who was against their political views, well, they're immediately blacklisted. Now, Next News Network is one of those. Channels like mine is one of those. Anybody speaking truth, patriotic views, support President Trump, then you're automatically on this blacklist. And he provides evidence upon evidence in that document. Don't take my word for it. Go straight to the document. It is linked below. And Google even allowed the intimidation of conservatives with threats of termination. Huge, huge, huge. Now, let me show you. I want to grab my phone for this, but let me show you some of the actual messages that were sent. And keep in mind, there's about 100 of these in that report, but I wanted to show you a few of the text messages sent by employees within the company, sent by leaders within the company. The first one you see here is, the choice to be a Republican is the choice to align yourself with a white supremacist xenophobic regime. Here's another one. Conservative Christianity, I admire your tolerance, but pairing those two phrases still sounds like an oxymoron to me. How is supporting a racist not racist? How is saying I'm going to elect a man who says he will immediately deport 11 million Mexicans and cast a shroud of suspicion on all Muslims not a racist? Again, the very ploy of what that person is saying is a racist because you're a certain because you stand for a certain party or you're conservative, all of a sudden you're a racist. Here's another one. I once again find myself severely disappointed with management's apparent inability, or worse, lack of desire to provide a non-toxic environment. Seriously, if you want to work somewhere where white national, racist, climate designers, and misogynists were supported and support those viewpoints, then go find a job at Fox News. Here's another. I could care less about people being Republican, but I won't tolerate Donald Trump voters. Lots and lots and lots of these, but that gives you an idea of the battle that we're facing here and the information war that I'm attempting to tell you about. So with that, please, please, please make sure you are sharing these. Make sure you're subscribing to this channel, other channels, and not just mine. Hey, if you don't like this one, subscribe to someone that you do who is sharing the truth, because they're going to do everything they can to censor us. And us as a power together, I think we can stop that. We can halt that. Nobody should be censored. I don't care if you're conservative. I don't care if you're a Christian. I don't care if you're a Jew, a Catholic, a Muslim, or whatever race, creed, religion you want to be, a Buddhist, or, whatever it is. You should not be told by someone who has control of the internet like Google does and others do that you should be delisted because they don't like your political view. That is not okay. And the beauty of freedom is we can say what we want to say in that regard, as long as we're not harming and hurting somebody physically in that manner, obviously. But that is not the line that's being crossed here. They just don't like the fact that we stand against their leftist political agenda. Anyhow, please don't forget to check out my partner at noblegoldinvestments.com. Another way in which this channel and channels like mine stay up and moving. So make sure you check that out as well. And don't forget to subscribe to my backup channel, Lisa Haven Vlogs. I'll leave a link below for that also. Anyhow, thanks for tuning in, and hope this call to action wakes up multiple people all across the country. I'm Lisa Haven, signing out.